Untamed Isles is a cautionary tale of game development funded by crypto investors. Kickstarter game Untamed Isles goes on hiatus after crypto crash. Another crypto game crashes and burns, won't issue refunds to backers because there's no money left. And who's to blame for it? Apparently I am. Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment here to thank all of the absolute chads and chadettes that support this channel via Patreon. You're all freaking legends. Seriously, each and every single one of you. I would offer to give each of you a kiss, but I suffer from severe intimacy issues. Additionally, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest MMO gacha and gaming news, take a second here to follow MRSSSTIX and I over on Twitter. We tweet daily. So last month, I did a video on what seemed to be, at the time, an MMO that was heavily inspired by Pokemon. My reaction was that of excitement. I watched the trailer, I skimmed over the details of the game over on Steam, as is evident on screen right now. But after releasing this video, it was brought to my attention that this game was heavily invested in crypto, which was a shock to me because I wasn't aware that Steam allowed crypto or NFT games, at least to my knowledge. Yet after browsing its overwhelmingly large Kickstarter page, I found it. Proof, however obscure, that it was in fact a play-to-earn crypto game, which led me to retract my statement, my endorsement of their game. Yet I didn't expect this kind of reaction from the lead developers, nor the kind of press coverage that A, this entire incident, along with B, me received on websites like Eurogamer, on Game Developer, on PC Gamer, and a ton more. Now, before we go any further, I do want to advise all of you to not overreact with regards to this situation. There's no need to seek out the developers and berate them. There's no need to cause unnecessary hate online. No need to attack them. Their Kickstarter page very evidently states, even though it's all the way down at the bottom of the page, that it is a play-to-earn game. The easiest thing to do here is merely just ignore it, avoid it, and move on. But after being called out, after being blamed, and then having all of this coverage online, I feel like I need to, at the very least, react to it, give my side of the story of whatever is happening, and maybe clear things up a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead here and use PC Gamer's article because I feel like PC Gamer is a very large news website. Another crypto game crashes and burns, won't issue refunds to backers because there's no money left. The developers of Untamed Isles say they lost investment funding because of the cryptocurrency collapse and cannot afford to finish their game. Untamed Isles, a monster taming turn-based MMORPG that found major success on Kickstarter, has been put on hiatus because of the crypto crash. Kickstarter backers are being told that there's no money left for refunds. The 2021 Kickstarter campaign for Untamed Isles rang up a remarkable $527,000 in backing, more than 4 times its initial goal. It promised a fully open world with unique areas for friends to gather, practice PvP, trade, breed monsters, clear dungeons, and play through the story of Untamed Isles socially with open voice proximity communications. It also boasted a play-to-earn model in partnership with Direwolf, which would enable most of the items and all of the monsters in the game to be tokenized and bought, sold, or traded in various marketplaces or the in-game auction house. Unfortunately, the commitment to crypto is where it all went wrong. Although I do want to note here, they go on to claim that they boasted play to earn, yet you go on over to their Kickstarter page, and not only do they note that it is a monster taming turn-based MMORPG, no mention of play to earn or any type of crypto, but looking at their description of the game, nowhere is it listed that this is a play to earn crypto game, or nowhere does it even mention that it has a focus on crypto whatsoever. Navigating on over to their official Steam page, nowhere is crypto noted, nowhere is play to earn mentioned. So I don't know if necessarily they're boasting a play to earn business model, but you know what, let's go ahead and continue. To work on this project, we brought more than 70 staff members on, and that right there, I feel like is immediately I am of the impression here, now this is just my opinion, but I feel like that is where the entire thing has unraveled, because as an indie developer that has amassed less than $1 million in funding for your game, you do not then go out and hire 70 new staff members. Genshin Impact had 100 staff members working on it. That game had tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars funding. Blue Protocol has 100 people working on it. That game has the backing of a AAA studio. You're a small indie company. You're literally just throwing your money into the wind by hiring 70 people onto your team. We were working relentlessly for more than 2 years to build the game we all were dreaming about, developer Fat Loot Studios wrote on Steam. The truth is that the cost of development is high. Well, I mean, yeah, like what did you expect? Most MMOs cost millions, if not tens of millions. Even Ashes of Creation, I feel like, has poured in $50 to $100 million, I think, at this juncture, right? Like the last time they mentioned how much money they had invested, Steven had invested, or they had invested as a cumulative total, they were at 40 million, and that was like a year or more ago. The truth is that the cost of development is high, and there were lots of bumps on our way to this moment. Since we started the journey in 2020, the economic landscape has changed dramatically, both generally and specifically for cryptocurrency, and we are not confident in the current market. We ran out of financial resources and we cannot carry on the development at this moment. Fat Loot said that it leaned into the crypto market and expanded rapidly off the back of the positive interest, which left it in an untenable position when the crash came. Untamed Isles is not primarily a crypto-based game, it added, but funding from crypto investors is necessary to get the game finished and launched. Unlike many of the projects that have floundered in the storm, and by many, they mean pretty much all of them, we actually have a great game design, which is what they all say, that could stand on its own 2 feet. Evidently, that's probably not the case, the studio said. But until the crypto situation is resolved, and we're confident it will be at some stage, then we have to hibernate development on this project. The crypto situation is an understated description of the market collapse that has sunk cryptocurrencies to their lowest values in years. And this is common knowledge. A lot of people knew this was going to happen with crypto. So I don't know why you would bet the entire future development of your project on something you knew was eventually going to crash and fail. It doesn't make sense to me. And I feel bad for all those Kickstarter backers who have had their money tossed into the crypto void. External factors ranging from general global economic malaise to the Russian invasion of Ukraine have had an impact, but the bigger issue is the inherently risky and unstable nature of cryptocurrency. Millions of dollars have been lost in hacks that, as we said, following the $200 million Nomad heist in July, are starting to feel like weekly events. Even when criminality is not involved, the basic ethics of crypto are iffy at best. Last week, for instance, Riot Blockchain, unrelated to League of Legends studio Riot Games for the record, was able to mine $7 million in Bitcoin effectively for free by taking advantage of state subsidies in Texas, despite the fact that Texas is in the midst of an ongoing energy crisis. There's also a growing backlash against cryptocurrency and NFTs among wider audiences. Free-to-play auto battler Storybook Brawl was review bombed in March after the developer was bought by a cryptocurrency exchange, and in May, Wikipedia announced it will no longer accept cryptocurrency donations. And okay, so I'm just gonna throw this out there. This might be unpopular opinion, but if you have a game that is not built on top of cryptocurrency and then you implement cryptocurrency into your game and your fans get angry at it, they should technically be allowed to leave negative reviews. They have that freedom to. Fat Loot explained, and here's where it begins to concern me physically. In a live stream last week, that things started to go sideways when MMOBite posted a video in July apologizing for supporting Untamed Isles and disavowing crypto games in general. Host STIX said in the video that he is very strongly against those specific types of games. And I am very, very strongly against crypto games, crypto in general, NFTs, blockchain, any of that play to earn trash. I do not think that it belongs in the MMO genre. I do not think it belongs in gaming in general. And if I had known at the time that this game supported blockchain, that it supported play to earn, I would not have done a positive video expressing my excitement for it. And after I posted that positive video on it, and it was brought to my attention that the game was in fact play to earn, I immediately went and retracted my opinion, retracted my statement, and I set things straight. But saying that that'd start to go sideways after I did a video apologizing and disavowing crypto games is a little bit excessive. Another blow was suffered when 2016 Pokemon World Champion Wolf Glick, who had been hired to help design the Untamed Isles combat system, appeared to speak out against the NFT aspect on Twitter. So it looks like someone said, "Isn't this that play to earn crypto / NFT game though?" To which Wolfie, who again was brought on to design the Untamed Isles combat system, said originally the game intended to implement NFTs, but after I spoke with the team and some external factors, they decided to move away from it. There are no crypto or NFT features implemented into the game itself. The only remnant is an optional external marketplace. So either Wolfie has no idea what's going on in the game that he is actively aiding in the development of and be promoting, or he does and he's lying. Now, I'd like to believe that he just wasn't aware of what was going on and that they were still going to be a crypto game. But I mean, unless he publicly states otherwise, or he confirms publicly where his stance is with regards to his knowledge on the subject, all we have left is to speculate. Fatloot said that those events triggered a cascade effect that caused other mainstream media companies to cancel planned coverage. Influencers who had been lined up to push the game also started to pull out. Pre-sales fell well short of anticipated levels. Just 50 pre-sales were made rather than the hoped for 2,000 to 3,000. And if this game has a box price of like $50, you're looking at a couple $1,000s made total, which is not remotely close to being enough to fund even the development for another week. But influencers have pulled out of covering the game. Other media companies have canceled their planned coverage because I did a video stating that I did not support crypto, or I guess more the fact that this game was actually a crypto game and a lot of these companies maybe weren't actively aware of that. The more significant long-term issue though was the impact of the crypto crash. We had some fantastic investors lined up to inject several more $1 million into the project through a variety of equity raising and selling of the Fatloot token, which we were working on in the background. The studio said during the stream, it was all going really well, then the crypto crash occurred and we lost that funding very, very quickly. The investors pulled out as they watched the market crashing, and to be fair, they're right to do so because these are very uncertain times in the global economy. Fatloot has decided to launch Untamed Isles in a more bare-bones state in October ahead of its original schedule in order to get it out and start generating revenue as soon as possible. But the studio was burning through close to 100,000 New Zealand dollars per week in wages and costs. That is what happens when you hire 70 people onto your studio and you don't have an active stream of revenue. Developers realized that they were likely not going to be able to make the revenue from our launch to keep the lights on. Unfortunately, while investors were able to dodge the bullet and people who pre-purchased the game and Fatloot tokens will be given refunds, individual backers on Kickstarter and Backer It are out of luck. The Kickstarter campaign promised that full refunds would be issued to all backers if Untamed Isles failed to launch, and numerous backers have asked for one, but in an FAQ on the Untamed Isles website, it states that refunds will not be available because, well, there's no money. So... Thank you guys for your $1 million. We appreciate it. We managed to kind of make somewhat of a game, and you guys will kind of be able to play part of the somewhat of a game sometime. Kickstarter funded indie games, dude. It's gone over about as well as you might expect, which is to say not well at all. And there's also quite a few backers upset that the project was based on cryptocurrency in the first place, which means that A bunch of these backers weren't aware that crypto was a focal point of the game development as well. So like, let's be honest here, who actually knew that this was a play to earn crypto game? The Pokemon World Tournament winner, the investors, the media coverage, the other influencers, none of us were aware that this was a crypto game when we were all actively supporting it. And then when I bring this to light, I get called out as being partially, if not mainly, responsible for what has happened to the game, at least according to the various different websites online. Why on earth would you invest in cryptocurrency? One backer wrote, "It's fake money, it's all a scam. If I knew that's where you were leaning, I never would have joined. If refunds are happening, I want mine, please. Ye gods, when will people realize crypto is a huge scam? Refund ta, didn't back this for my money to be involved with crypto." Another wrote, "The confusion about Untamed Isles' reliance on cryptocurrency apparently arose from the fact that no mention is made of it until more than halfway through its Kickstarter campaign description. It's there, but minimized." And I covered this in my video. I said that it was a little bit disingenuous to go and introduce everyone to your game, to a large part of your game, and not make any mention whatsoever to it being a play to earn title until you navigate past all of this information and make it all the way down to, God, where even is this? And you make it all the way down to the very bottom of the page, where there is a tiny little couple paragraph section dedicated to it. This is literally less than 100 words. Kickstarter backers are not the only ones who complained about the lack of transparency. STIX of MMO made the same complaint in his video, saying that he was not aware of the crypto integration because it isn't until you scroll about 60% down the page that you even mention play to earn, which literally I just noted. The presence of the game on Steam may also contribute to the confusion, which I also noted. I wasn't aware that Steam allowed for crypto or NFT games, so as I was reading all of this from Steam, I was under the impression that it was a legitimate MMO, kind of like Temtem, because Valve banned all games incorporating NFTs or cryptocurrency from Steam last year. Its presence could be explained by the fact that the Steam listing makes absolutely no mention of the cryptocurrency integration. Hiding that aspect of the game does not seem great for its long-term future on the storefront, but gamers coming to the project through Steam would be given no indication of the presence of cryptocurrency integration, which is, again, something that I noted, which is why I thought they were being a little bit disingenuous in omitting that aspect from their Kickstarter page. In a statement released today, Fatloot said that it did not invest money raised through crowdfunding and traditional investment into cryptocurrencies, but that it was forced to stop development because of the withdrawal of investors spooked by the crypto crash and the negative sentiment associated with Web3 integrated games. But to my thinking, that opens the door to questions about the timing of the announcement. We wrote about the cryptocurrency market experiencing an unprecedented crash back in May, yet Fatloot launched the pre-order campaign on August 1st, just 10 days before putting it all on hold, providing no indication that the game was in trouble. Fatloot founders said they are now looking at ways to salvage both the core studio and the game so that it can be completed and released down the track along with other possible titles. If you're looking, you wouldn't even need to attempt to salvage your studio had you not blown your load immediately upon receiving all of this funding by recruiting upwards of 70 developers, programmers. This is where forethought comes into play. There's no sign of when that might happen, however. The studio said in its most recent live stream that conventional publishers are put off by the crypto, as they should be, while crypto investors aren't doing anything because of the crumbled state of the market. Interestingly, Fatloot said that it likely could have raised enough money to get Untamed Isles to launch. The problem is what happens after that. We can't get the traction or following through marketing, and there's no revenue in crypto right now, the team said. How much money can you raise until you launch the game? And it ends up burning a hole in our team and we lose it. Now, again, the reason why I decided I would do a video dedicated to this and at least attempt to partially defend myself is because, according to various different news websites, I was blamed publicly live in a Twitch stream for being the beginning of the decline of this game. But here's the thing, if you want to implement NFTs or crypto into your game, then that's more than fine. You do you. But I do not personally support neither crypto nor NFTs of any form in MMOs, a genre that I love and I want to see retain a healthy future. This is why I make the conscious choice to not cover content dedicated to NFTs or blockchain or crypto on this channel, for the most part anyway. And had I known that that is exactly what this kind of video was, I likely would have avoided doing a dedicated positive video on this game as well. Nevertheless, none of us are infallible. We're all capable of making mistakes. This mistake was one that I believe required I make a follow-up video, because this is something that I strongly feel needed addressed, and I will continue to use YouTube, social media as a platform to combat what I believe might potentially bring ruin to the MMO genre.